Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. And hello again to the profitable photographer. I know my intro says that and it says I'm Lucy, but anyway, I'm still all that. Today's episode is a solo one, and I've been trying to create it or write it or figure out answers about this topic for, I don't know, about 6 weeks. And I really don't have any answers, but I have some thoughts and I have some things I've researched. The topic is motivation. Now, I have reached a point in my life where a lot of the motivations that I had in the past to build a business or start the podcast or become a coach or even pick up a camera the first time, a lot of those I've moved past those as strong motivations. And I'm at the point where I am pondering and wondering what my next life chapter might be. I've been doing this show now for 5 years, and I started it initially, besides sharing my thoughts and having great guests and meeting people and getting to chat with longtime friends of mine, it was also to reach out and hopefully book more coaching clients as I was continuing to grow that side of my business. And at this point, um, I get a steady flow. I only do a handful of people, and it seems like the universe sets things up so we find each other when the time is right. Um, I don't mean to be babbling. I'm just trying to weed my way or chit chat my way into starting on this topic of motivation and let you know why it's something I've been thinking about. And so, one thing that came to mind that I'm going to cover is the teachings of Maslow. If you've ever taken a psychology class, you studied Maslow's uh, hierarchy of needs. And so I thought that could be something good that we could take a look at, and I could kind of fill in some of my thoughts or how I approach those. Um, I find when I'm doing an initial, what do I call it, deep dive conversation with somebody that might be interested in coaching, I go into a lot of questions that get kind of deep. And those questions can get down to the core of why someone wants to start or grow their business. And sometimes people start at a surface level, and then I keep asking questions so that I get to that maybe even number four or number five of the five needs, and really have people understand their why. So I'll sprinkle in some of that as we go. So, coincidentally, just as I was getting ready to sit down and record, a friend of mine, Stacy Levens Green, who was on my early show, just happened to be thinking of me and messaged me. And we had a little chat because she's been a full-time photographer for many, many decades. I've known her almost as long as I've been in business. And we chatted a little about how, at this point in our lives, our needs are different. We've accomplished, let me turn the noise down here. All right, do not disturb. We've achieved a lot. We're comfortable. Life is good. Um, and now what? And it was interesting that she said she's going through some of the same questions about, where to direct her life now. So it was fun to kind of run some of the things by her and hear hers. Anyway, she's going to get on my show and we might talk about this more. But for now, something that I am questioning myself about, not sure if this might be something you also are thinking about, but I've always been motivated, almost like there was something chasing me. Um, like you have to keep going, you have to do, you have to accomplish all the time, all the time, all the time. That phrase, that's going to be on your permanent record. Or my dad always saying, do your best, which I now know he meant, just in life, not you always have to be accomplishing. But I have that at my core. And so my question is, do I always need to be motivated? I mean, yes, I need to be motivated to get out of bed, have something to eat and drink, and stay clean and keep, basic life maintenance. Absolutely. But what comes after that? And so I'm going to keep pondering that. If anybody's read any great books on this topic, I would love some references because I always love to turn to books and other teachers. And so I'm open to hear what you might find as a motivation guide. Um, and I am doing stuff. It's that thought, am I doing enough right now? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Is that even a good question? I think a deeper question is, am I satisfied in my life? Or is there some dissatisfaction that can move me forward to something new, something fun? Um, is there guilt that still, like, you'd think at this point in my life, I might have, um, I don't know, I might have an easier relationship with guilt, and I think I do, but it might still be kind of pushing me a little in this question. And a big one is self-judgment. Am I judging myself because I'm not right now wanting to change the world in some huge way, but I love sitting on my porch and petting the dogs and making friends with my neighbors and watching their children grow up. And I love doing this podcast and I love just simple things. Anywho, so those are my first thoughts. So I want to talk a little about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So here is a quote about it, or not a quote, but a description. It's a psychological theory that outlines 5 levels of human needs. It's often depicted as a pyramid. I don't know why. It's a pyramid. Each level builds on the one below. And when we understand these levels, it can help us stay motivated by identifying what's driving us and what might be holding us back. So, a quick summary. Number 1 is the physiological needs. So, I've already touched on that. I need to get out of bed. I need to eat. I need basic life maintenance. I need shelter. I need a home. Now, in those basic needs, I find that, of course, most of us find when we're wanting to be in a business or make more money that that need is very motivating. I never wanted to go back to being employed elsewhere, but I needed employment, and I did not have, um, a trust fund or a rich husband or something. So I was and am highly motivated to work, to accomplish, to create things for income. So that's number 1. So think about that for you. How much is the core reason you want to keep moving forward or keep doing what you're doing that's successful because you need money? One of the challenges I have discovered over the decades with many of my women friends in photography is that if they have a spouse who has a good job and is providing the basic financial needs in life, it's harder for them to do what it takes to make a business grow. I consider it an advantage that during a recession, I lost my contract running a little business in the airport and was unemployed. Why? Was that a blessing to me? Well, because I needed to find what it was I wanted to do in life. And I had the time. I was lucky. I had the time to do that. And so I worked diligently. I found community with the local photography chapter of PPA and the state and the national chapters. I learned, I had mentors, I went to workshops, I did all the things. And the foundation of that was because I needed income. So, in that same category, you may not have a spouse that takes care of your financial needs, but you might have a job that takes care of your financial needs. And that can make it challenging to um, to set aside the time and do what it takes to get the business going and get the income. And in that case, these other needs would come into play, especially some of the ones, you know, number 4 and number 5. All right. So, number 2 is the need for safety. Safety means security, stability, protection from harm. Also, I guess it's merging into this, or maybe I merged it. It also includes that financial security. Um, we need to have a stable environment. We need routine. We need goals. And those things help us have our safety needs. So let me think. I'm going to pause 1 second, think how that fits in with what I've already said, or if there's anything else on that. 1 sec. Okay, I'm back. So thinking of safety needs. So of course, we need to create a life where we do not feel like we're in danger. And again, losing a home, losing something that we need every day, that can definitely be motivating in all kinds of ways. All right. So, number 3, love and belonging. And that includes relationships, community, connection with others. And I think that this podcast, it serves me in that area because I get to share with amazing people. I get to have great talks. I make new friends. I deepen some other friendships with an in-depth 1 hour conversation. And people acknowledge and people share that they value what they get from this podcast. It definitely connects me to others. And I love that it connects you with the others I connect with. So it's that community. That's a big part of motivation for me in so many ways. I'm part of a women's photography group that meets once a month, and we do things that enrich our photography or our inspiration or just for fun. And during the COVID times, I kept holding the torch that we needed to have social time on. We kept meeting once a month on um, Zoom, but that we needed sharing and social time. That this group, it's been around 35 years. I'm one of the founding members, and we have an active board. And the core of, I'm sure, why we do it, besides staying creatively motivated and getting to do fun things is the community aspect. That's a reason I joined PPA, stay active in my local chapter. We need that support. We need to be uplifted. It's amazing. So the person that I mentioned earlier, Stacy, that I was just talking to, there has been times in my life when she has said just the exact thing I needed at the moment. I don't know that she's my angel in some way, and she's going to listen to this. So, hi, Stacy. Where she's done a connection, or she's asked me the right question, or something, and it has moved me forward. So we need other people. And so what I'm listening to about that to myself is I need to find a group of people that are in this same place, looking at some of the similar challenges of having had a successful, wonderful life and career and having the stability in the home and all of those good things, and yet desire more, desire to use the time that was used raising children, or just all the things earlier that take up a lot of time. Now there's a space of time to really contribute, but also to have community in a different way. So I'm thinking on that. All right, number 4. I hope this is helpful. I'm kind of exploring it as I go along. I don't have this perfect script other than this, these 5 needs and a little bit on that. It's helping me think through it. All right. So esteem needs. So we all need self-esteem. We need recognition. We need respect. We need to accomplish things. And that is a big motivator for being a photographer and creating work that clients love. It's a very big self-esteem booster, because a lot of us, like, I'm a very good salesperson. So I could have had a really good living in sales of some sort. I don't know if I would have wanted to sell cars or jewelry or something else that I highly value. But I love the self-esteem that comes from creating something amazing. And first of all, feeling good about it myself. That's called self-esteem, but also the feedback that I get, the people that over the years have um, have told me how much the photographs and the experience of being photographed, and even taking them through the selection process, has meant to them. And I find one of the big reasons I always recommend doing in-person sales is that it boosts your self-esteem. You begin to see, when you're showing your work, especially if you have a projector and you show it big, 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 your clients go, "Oh, I love that." And that's beautiful. And they laugh and they cry. And that can really satisfy that need for acknowledgement and recognition. Another reason I suggest that you join professional organizations and you enter your photographs into competitions is for that acknowledgement and that recognition. It's a challenge. Like, when I first started, I remember being insecure about my work. And of course, it it never completely goes away, especially if I'm entering a competition and I'm like, are they going to like it? Are they going to get it? But the courage to submit photographs for judgment and critique with the hope of getting acknowledged was a motivator for me in a big way. And a lot of my friends who do their photographs purely for the love of the art, they enter a lot of local and national organizations and critiques. And I'm realizing that the self-esteem that goes with that is a big motivator for doing that. Now, I don't um, I don't encourage people to base their self-esteem completely on clients liking our work or loving our work, because when we're selling a product. We're not selling the essence of us. So it's a side benefit if they are gobsmacked by the work we do. But if they like it and they buy it, that goes back to number one or number two. They, that's what we're about, is we are selling a product. But it is lovely to get, get that acknowledgement, and I get self-esteem when I make the prints and deliver to them as well. That when I open the cardboard box and I pull out my work that's big, like what you might see if you're looking at this on YouTube in the background, that's a booster for me, and it motivates me to continue on. So, yeah, think about those things. Okay, number 5 at the top is self-actualization. So that's a huge topic. Self-actualization means achieving your full potential and pursuing personal growth. So first of all, when I hear that, I don't think we I don't think we can fully reach our full potential, because we have limited potential as human beings. But achieving some of my potential every step of the way. So, wherever I am in life, um, accomplishing, because as a human, there is value to that. Um, when I was, so my happy place growing up was church camp once a week. That was a place where I was seen. It was my environment, because my pastor father and growing up in churches and such, um, I could be kind of queen of the hop there. Junior high school, not as much of that. And I think it might have been when I was 12 or 13, my my counselor, my small group counselor, wrote on we always had folders when we had the picture with all of us together. And he wrote, "Lucy, you have so much potential." And I didn't even know what that meant. But I just love how he saw something in me and planted that seed of, what does that mean? What is potential? And when I think of the course of my life and where I am today, I realize, yeah, he was right. We all have so much potential. So, being able to accomplish whatever we set our mind to, whether there's importance in being like world famous. I used to, early in my not my career, but before I made this a profession, I really wanted to be a famous photographer. I wanted to have a voice. I wanted to, get that out there in the world. And now, after decades of having personal galleries in people's homes all over San Diego and other parts of the country, that is a kind of self-actualization that satisfies that itch. I don't need to have a show, um, but that can be super motivating. I see that in this women's group, there are a lot of women who do their creative work, and that's part of what we do together, is help each other grow in that way. And they have shows, and that is, yes, that self-esteem, but I also think it fits in with that self-actualization, doing the things we love and doing them well and contributing to the world. The world. I said that so weird. Anyway, so some of the tips on that are to discover our passions, learn new skills. When I decided to be a coach, I was excited because there was so much new stuff to learn. How do you coach? How do you promote it? How do you organize yourself? Um, what's my curriculum? What's my niche? All of those things. All right. So, some of the ways to stay motivated, according to some of the Maslow's theory, is identifying our blockages. So, are we feeling insecure or lacking connection? Or do we need some recognition? Like, where in that psychological safety, belonging, self esteem, self actualization, what's missing? And then suggestion number two is to set some goals that align with those needs. It can be short-term goals. Like for me, the safety came into play because I'm having some knee challenges. Yippee. And I realized that I've been sitting too much and that my my thighs were kind of like jello. And that does not help with a challenge when your knees are doing what can happen a lot as we get older, which is the cartilage and all the good little cushiony stuff gets thin or disappears. So that motivated me, and that's in the safety part because I don't want to fall. I don't want to hurt myself. I want to be able to go up steps easily. So I'm back motivated to the gym. And I don't have big, big goals, but I set myself regular um, habits and number of days that I go during the week. So that's a short-term goal is to get some muscle back. And I will proudly say that my thighs feel like iron right now. So, okay. Another is to reflect on your life or reflect on what's going on now and reassess because motivation can shift as our needs are met. As I've already said, at this point, the financial needs, sure, I love getting paid for my work, or I wouldn't mind somebody handing me a big pile of cash. I like I like that. Um, but other things need to come into play once we are, um, you know, once our financial needs, our safety needs, all those other needs are met. It's like besides continuing so that we don't lose those things, what else can we come up with? Let's see. And leveraging higher levels, so the esteem needs and the self actualization needs for the inspiration. So, looking at deeper meanings, deeper purposes. Something I am pondering is um, holding babies at the hospital. As a children's photographer, my favorite part and what I miss uh, about not photographing kids regularly, and especially the little beansy ones when I had a studio. Um, I did a lot of newborns, not the baby burritos. It was before before Ann Geddes came out and did all these beautiful wrapped newborns. So I had my own style, but I just absolutely loved holding those babies and seeing those babies, helping the moms because I'm like every kid's Aunt Lucy. So um, I taught some of these new moms some things about their children and their babies and so forth. I love that part. So one of the first thoughts that I have when I think, oh, what could I be doing that would feel worthwhile and also be satisfying is maybe going to the hospital and holding preemie babies. I helped my niece and I helped her daughter come into the world. I was the first that they saw. Um, and so I just love those newborns. Anyway, so I'm planting that little seed for myself. Let's see. So I hope this has been helpful because when we can really like breakdown, some people don't need it, but for me, it always helps to have a little breakdown of a situation and think, okay, this is an area I can grow or I can focus. It's helped me share this, so I hope some of y'all get good things out of it. I have just by talking out loud and even even if I don't post this, which I will, um, I've gotten some good thoughts out of this. So I'm going to pause one sec, see if there's anything else I want to include before I conclude. Well, I do have something I want to read, but I want to say that the motivation for me to do this topic on motivation was to research the topic for my own benefit. And I am excited thinking that maybe this might be sparking something in you. I do have more notes. I'm going to not go through all of them, but a couple of key motivators are things about giving back, the point where we are comfortable where we are in life. So, kind of in the now what is looking at ways to give back, to keep learning, to stay creative, to come up with challenges that can benefit society, uh, keep growing as a leader, having some goals of mastering something. So, that might even be taking piano or guitar lessons. And then, and I did want to touch on this too, as far as motivation is the work-life balance, that when you're in the, busy time where there's so much going on and you're building and growing a business and the business is wildly successful, it's very important to have a life, have that serve your your life, not be all the things. Okay, so here's a final thought, and this is about people who have had accomplishments and hopefully it's all, well, I'm sure we've all had, it's sort of like if you graduate from high school, there's the now what. If you get your kindergarten certificate, because now they have kindergarten graduations, I guess. What motivates them to go to first grade? So when you've already achieved significant success, finding motivation that can shift towards pursuing personal growth, make a positive impact, explore new challenges, or simply enjoying the freedom to do the things you're genuinely passionate about rather than solely focusing on financial gain. Uh, that is a time to turn to some of those things that I just mentioned. So thank you for being a listener so that I could get myself to research this topic and think internally. And I'm sure it's going to be resonating. And I'm going to look at my notes some more. And I hope, of course, that this does that for you too. Um, this is like journaling, but other people get to read my journal today. So thank you. And be sure to go to Luci Dumas Coaching. And if you pick up one of the gifts, the 10 Big Ideas book or the 7 Steps to Attracting Great Clients little mini book, that gets you on my email list. So you will get to know more about what I do. And also, you'll always get notices about my latest episodes. So thank you all. And sending you a great big motivating wave. All right. Bye.